Do you have a DonorsChoose.org project that needs funding? Today's sponsor is Advancement Courses, and they are donating 10% of their sales until September 28th to DonorsChoose.org projects. And if you're needing professional development for yourself, you get 20% off their 200-plus online PD courses using this special code just for 10-minute teacher listeners. So stay tuned at the end of the show. Our students come to us with so many problems and struggles. So I was excited to meet today's guest and the free journal that can help kids handle and talk about the drama and trauma of life. So episode 369, a way to help kids with the trauma and drama of life, and a free journal to help you do that.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
Today, we're talking with Dianne Maroney about a very important topic. Dianne is the author of the Imagine Project, Rise Above Drama, Trauma, and Stress, and how to help students do that. Dianne, so many of us teachers are dealing with kids who do have trauma and do have stress in their lives. Where do we start?
Kids with trauma need a lot of important things, but they need to feel safe, first of all. They need to feel empowered. They need to feel heard. They need to feel loved, which is the part of the safety piece. And they need to have a voice because, in classrooms and in life, stress and trauma can really get in the way of being able to function, to learn, to have quality relationships, and to move forward. So they need support in order to understand themselves and understand that they don't have to be defined by that story, that difficult time in their life, and that they can move away from it and write a new story in its place.
So you have a 7-step writing process and a free journal. Tell us about this.
It's called the Imagine Project, and it's at theimagineproject.org. It's a 7-step writing process where it's K through 12, and kids write their story using the word imagine to begin every sentence. So the 7-step process was created so that teachers and counselors and youth leaders could use it as part of their literacy curriculum or as an activity in the classroom, but it begins with the first step and this is fast writing, unless the kids are little, and of course they need more support. But this is, they spend just a few minutes writing down what they want to celebrate in their life. Step 1 is about celebrating what's right in their life. It's good to be positive first, and then write down some words or draw some pictures about how those good things in your life make you feel. Second step is to reflect on what's been challenging in their life. It might be something that happened yesterday or 5 years ago, 5 months ago, moving, being bullied, parent loss. There's some wide variety of things. Trauma can be anything from humiliation to abuse. And so having the kids write down just like 3 statements. What's been challenging in your life? Reflect on that. The third process is to take one of those things that they wrote about in step 2 and write an imagined story about it. So imagine loving your house that you live at. Imagine your parents telling you have to move. Imagine saying goodbye to all of your friends. So every sentence begins with the word imagine, and they write they're told, no grammar, punctuation, just write from your heart. Just speak your truth. And it's a very powerful process, and kids love it. They just start writing. And even the kids that don't like to write love to do this. It helps them find their voice. So then that's step 3, and they can write that as long as they want. For younger kids, it might take a couple days to finish it, but for the older kids in high school, you can do it in 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending upon the size of the group. And then step 4 is the really important part, where you ask them to move out of what's been difficult and into what's possible. So imagine the possibilities in your life. So they're asked to imagine graduating from high school. Imagine traveling the world. Imagine finding a cure for diabetes. That was a cute little 3rd grader that said that. And Then step 5 is, okay, you have your imagined dreams. Now transform them into I statements. I am, I can, I will. So you make them own it. I am smart enough to get good grades. I can graduate from high school. I will go to college. And then step 6 is, what do you need to do to make your dreams happen? 3 things to make your dreams happen. And then step 7 is a 30-day challenge where you ask the kids to every day write down 3 things that they're grateful for. We know that gratitude changes the brain in positive ways, and write down 3 things that they want to imagine in their lives. Again, trying to get them to focus on what's possible instead of the negative part of what's happened to them. And then do 1 act of kindness every day, and that's just to create a better society. So that's a 30-day challenge. So that's 7 steps. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to incorporate into a literacy program, and teachers love it. They really love it. And it creates a lot of emotion, but it creates family and camaraderie and trust in the classroom. Teachers get to learn their kids, about their kids more, and the kids figure out that they're not alone. And they see the resilience in their kids around them, and they're like, wow, if you can do that, I can do this. So It's pretty cool.
I think about the video that's sort of going viral from Elizabeth Smart, the young lady who had been kidnapped for 9 months. And it was just such a sad story, but she's actually now a motivational speaker. And she said her mom told her something the day after they got her back that inspired her so much. Her mom told her that these people have taken from you 9 months that you will never get back. Don't give them one more day.
Exactly. And the thing about trauma is that kids and adults can have a really hard time understanding that and knowing that. It's the really uniquely, innately resilient child that can do that on their own. And a lot of kids who are traumatized have trauma in the home. So they may not have the support system that Elizabeth Smart had. So they have to, if a teacher shows them, listen, you don't have to be that. You can be anything, and when the kids read their stories out loud, and that's optional, but the younger kids up to about 6th grade love to read their stories out loud. It's the teacher that looks at them and shows them that, wow, you're so resilient. Look at that. There's one 5th grade teacher that had them pick a positive word that defines them from their story, resilience or hope or, happiness or success, and she put all those words around the room to constantly remind them of the positive side of themselves. And it's my dream that kids learn that this is a tool that they can take home with them, and for the rest of their lives, use it when they're up against something that's difficult, and to help them process and move through it.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, for a while it seemed like ADD was the epidemic, and it still may be. But they said, I kind of think it's moved to PTSD.
Well, ADD is a symptom of trauma. So it can often, brains, the thing about what we're learning about trauma, we know about trauma, is that it causes dysregulation. And when a child is dysregulated, they can't sit still, they can't think, they can't comprehend, and their nervous system just does not flow right. And a child who's regulated can sit there and, enjoy life and take in things. But this trauma, which is so prevalent in our society, trauma causes dysregulation. So the teacher really, I know, everybody's so overwhelmed, but it's so helpful for the child to learn if they help them get regulated. And the Imagine Project, in doing this expressive writing, there's tons of research on it that shows that it can help a child get regulated, one of the pieces of the pie.
What are the mistakes that you think teachers are making when helping kids with trauma?
I think a lot of teachers don't know what to do with it. They know it's there. They want to love them, but they get overwhelmed at the idea of trying to help them, first of all, because a lot of teachers have their own trauma, and they write the best Imagine stories themselves because they've been through so much and they care. And that's why they're in their position that they are, is helping kids. But that compounds how hard it is for them to really reach out and love sometimes, love and care for these kids and give them everything that they need. So I think they do. It's hard, but you kind of want to look the other way because they're afraid they're going to have to report something, or they're going to get too involved, or, it's going to hurt their own heart. And so it's difficult to know how to reach out. And this tool gives them, something that they can do it with. And I think that that's really important. And you do it with love. You don't do it and disconnect from it. You got to do it with love. If you can't do it with love, then you probably shouldn't do it. But it's easy to do with love.
So Dianne, as we finish up, could you talk to all the teachers listening to you right now and speak directly to them about that child that will come into their classroom today that they know has experienced trauma, and how to encourage and help that child?
So I know it's a challenge, but to look at them in their eyes and just see them for who they are underneath that trauma. Know, first of all, look in their eyes, connect with them from your heart, and show them that you care. Listen and love them. Especially if they're young and you can, give them a hug and show them that you're there for them. You may not be their parent, but you're there for them for the 6 to 8 hours that they're in their classroom with you, and that they're safe. And give them an opportunity to speak their truth, which is happens with the Imagine Project. And just to know that the journals are all available for free to use in your classroom. There's 4 journals, and at theimagineproject.org, you just download them, and there's lessons plans there. You can use the book if you'd like to learn more about it. If you like more details, and somebody can also come and do a professional development day. But kids just so benefit. You're changing lives by helping kids to know that they're okay when they haven't felt okay.
So teachers, our world needs more kindness and love and gentleness and grace and understanding. And that's part of who we are. It's part of what we do. We know that we have to relate before we can educate. And this is a powerful tool that Dianne has given us to help relate better to our students, to help them through trauma, to help them understand them, to help them move forward. And I think it's a fantastic project for writing teachers, but even those of us who aren't teaching writing, to try to help kids with their resilience and when moving forward in life. From now until September 28th, Advancement Courses, an online provider of professional development for K-12 teachers, is donating 10% of their sales to funding DonorsChoose.org projects. Go to advancementcourses.com/give to submit your project today. And if you're in need of professional development, the 10-Minute Teacher listeners like you can get 20% off any online courses with the code COOL20. That's COOL 20. With this coupon, a 3 grad credit course for continuing education, salary advancement, or recertification is only $359. So go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat to learn more, and make sure you use that coupon code COOL20. Never stop learning.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.